hold on. Okay, I'm going to share it with you. As soon as I find my share button. And it's not there. Hold on. Where did it go? I've got, it's not it. I've got my whole, you know, when you open up a Word document and it appears at the bottom of the screen, I have the whole bottom of the screen open with Word documents right now. In culture, one of my students is like, you have so many tabs open. I'm like, yeah, basically, that's what I do. All right, and I can't find it here. Okay, I lost it, but wait. I'll get it again. Okay, here it is. All right, this is the first text you're going to be working with. It's from a book called Weird Pennsylvania, and it's talking about a certain place in Pennsylvania called Midgetville, which is full of very small houses and small driveways, and everything about it is very small. So they're making a comparison with somewhere else. That's what you have to remember. Now, the purpose of this book, first of all, is to describe these strange things, strange people, strange happenings, strange places in Pennsylvania. The directions that are here, the directions that are here should lead the person to the place. Okay, maybe not exactly, but should give them an idea of where it is. So we have to be very careful, first of all, describing these directions. Okay, there's no outlet, might cause some problems for someone. The word driveway is a little complex because we don't have an exact word in Spanish for that. And of course, the references that we have in the rest of it, all right? So it's about a town called Midgetville, and you and your partner are going to translate this, okay? But I want you to do it as a team, talking, discussing, giving opinions, saying, wait, remember we did this, let's look at this, all right? Questions?
No.
I'm gonna put, I don't think you can see the chat after you go into the breakout rooms, right? When you're in breakout rooms, can you see the chat? Let's try it, let's try it. And if not, I'll go to each breakout room and put the text in there, okay? So let's put you in breakout rooms and see what we can see from there. And I'll visit when I come into your breakout room. If you don't have any questions or anything, just ignore me. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 12, that's 11. 11, let's take it to 5. Oh, David, you're here twice, okay? So I'll put you in the same room. Should be. Oh, you left in one. Okay. All right. So we have Solomon and Esme, Isabel and Sarah, Aida and David, Damara and Leticia, Alejandro and Mario. All right. So let's go to the breakout rooms. See if you can see the text, first of all. If not, I'll come around and put it in your chat in your breakout room.
I put the text in the chat.
Okay. We have to translate that text, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So you all have the text? You have no problem with the text?
Yes, teacher, no problem. I just have a question.
Yeah.
Do we have to write the profile as well?
Not specifically the profile. Good question. Good question. You don't have to necessarily write the profile, but you're going to want to keep the profile in mind. We're going to make sure
Okay.
that your translation would follow the profile. All right.
Okay, teacher.
Good
Thank you.
question. I'm going to put.
Teacher, so just we have to work in the translate.
What's your question?
Okay.
Do you just have to translate?
To work.
Don't use that kind of language. That makes it sound like translation is easy, right? So we just
Okay.
have to translate, that's all?
Okay.
You have
Thank you,
to
teacher.
translate, yes. You have to translate, yes, okay? But be very careful. Explore everything. All right?
Okay, teacher.
All right.
Good.
Where's the place? No. How will you translate no?
Okay.
Do you all have the text? Can you
Yeah,
see-
we do.
Yeah, okay,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
thank you.
Okay. Well, we could change or look for another like phrase, but I don't.
Como que sea por Villa Enana o Villa Enana para mí suena bien.
Yo creo que primero hay que leerlo, así bien,
Ajá.
como para entenderle. Ajá, porque
Va.
si vamos así, siento que no, como que no. A ver.
Va.
Bueno, lo leemos y ahorita ya comentamos, ¿no?
Ok, va.
A ver.
Se encuentra, no, wait, ya dijimos encontrar. Se ubica.
¿O está? No.
Está.
Pero ¿no ves que dijo que quería así como todo en diminutivo? Está en una entradita.
Tampoco dijo eso.
Sí, ¿no dijo de los diminutivos?
No sé. No escuché eso.
¿No? Estoy loca.
No sé.
Ok, entonces está o se encuentra.
No, porque ya pusimos encontrar anteriormente.
Ok, entonces,
Yo había dicho
¿está?
se ubica.
Perdón. Ok, entonces
Se ubica sobre una pequeña
Una-
carretera.
Well, teacher, I have a question in this case. For example, we gotta trying to translate this part. For example, there is no place like no. Well, we can change about for sentence that we have a sense for us. For example, no hay lugar como el hogar.
What would Naida say about that? What would Naida say about that? What would Saint Jerome say about that? Can you change something in order to have the same sense? Can you change the words in order to have the same sense, in order to keep the same sense?
Well, I following the instruction and the translation for you. For I don't remember exactly what was, but
You found what?
excuse me.
You found what?
No, I followed the translation to three. I don't remember exactly what was.
I'm not here. I don't understand what you're saying there. You found or you followed something?
The translation number 2 or 3.
Oh, translation number 2. Okay.
Yeah, where we change. Well, I changed the word for a Mexican culture, and when we check it, when we review the translation, well, it was wrong. So this is the problem that I understand yet. For example, if it's good to translate or change the word or make the sense or follow the sense that have the text.
Right, right. That's what we've said every class so far. It's sense for sense, not word for word. It's sense for sense. Now we have to be careful to what we change it to. Okay, it has to keep the same sense. That's the key to everything we've been doing this semester. Sense for sense, not word for word.
Okay, teacher, thank you.
Right?
Well, Mario, well, we have the first trouble solved. But in this case, the road's very narrow. It will be the carretera es muy estrecha. No hay salida. Well, there is an outlet.
Like doing the translation or shall we start like I can find the word.
Yes, I work in the translation.
Uh-huh.
I work, but I think in the for example, how do you say in well in the title, but I don't like I don't find
I
it works.
started working with text, so after I think that we may write the title after finishing the text. It'll be a bit easier
I
because
thought
I think
yes.
because I think that is a I mean I know it's a reference because the teacher told us that is for describing things, people, and things that are happening, but everything is small. And then the name known, I think it's a reference to that everything is small. But as we haven't finished the text, I think that's like we have to take some liberties there.
Well, I think in the title, I don't know. I wrote, no hay lugar como para ser un gnomo or not.
Mhm. Uh, yeah, I also thought of that.
Midgetville,
Midgetville.
but like referring to Midgetville being a small like place or like a small town. So I don't. Maybe we can change the first place. I mean the first phrase,
Okay.
or like do something because I don't know. Midgetville no es difícil de encontrar. Sounds like too literal. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
Well, I think we could like do that at the end because
Yeah,
we have
sure.
to think of the first thing, like no hay lugar como no or something similar to small. Like also, I was thinking the phrase hogar dulce hogar. We could do kind of a thing that like hogar pequeño hogar or
Oh, yeah, that sounds great. I like it. Yeah, I
yeah.
can put that at the end. At the end. Okay. So we said se encuentra en
En una entrada pequeña y estrecha frente al Hospital Taylor.
okay,
We have that
pequeña
in Chester Pike.
estrecha frente al hospital. Okay. So the road's very narrow and there's no outlet. So you have to turn around in a driveway at the end. Okay. El camino es muy estrecho o la entrada es muy estrecha. Y la entrada es muy estrecha and there.
Outlet. What can we use for outlet?
Outlet. There's no outlet.
Outlet. Where it is. The road's very narrow and there's no outlet. So you have to turn around in the driveway at the end.
No sé si
Sí.
Pike, no sé si Pike significa otra cosa.
No sé. Chester Pike. Bueno, esto ahorita lo podemos checar.
Vale.
Ok, entonces.
Sobre Chester Pike. Luego, the road's very narrow. El camino le ponemos a la calle. El camino, ¿no?
El camino.
El camino es muy estrecho.
Sí, es una referencia a El Mago de Oz. Si vas
a ir. Vamos a poner si vas a ir.
Si vas a ir.
Vas a ir solo.
Ajá. Click your heels to get. Ay, ¿cómo podemos poner eso?
I don't remember
We might
exactly.
change. I think that we must explain what midget is referring to, like give a short explanation, because I don't like the idea of explaining at the end of the text or something like that. But as I told you, we can't change it because it's a proper name. But Spanish speakers will know what midget means. So I think that we must do what, as I told you, what we were doing on that translation about the, I don't know how to say it. I forgot the word in Spanish.
The first idea is then it's a change for something that the Spanish speakers understand. For example, Midget Village. For example, in Pueblo Enano. No, it sounds
As
strange.
I told you, we can't change it because it's a proper name.
Well, that's a first idea. We can
Will
change it.
be explaining what midget refers to. Well, that's my idea.
Oh yeah, I remember exactly. Yeah, what do you mean? Yeah. Well, for example, we can start with Midget Village. What do you think to explain? You have a you have idea?
Trying to remember my translation. Let me see if I have it right here.
Well, we can start with Midget Village. Es un lugar.
Yeah. Could be frente o del otro lado.
Puede ser del otro lado.
Ajá.
I work. Se encuentra en un pequeño y estrecho camino frente al hospital Taylor and Chester Pike.
Ajá.
Because it's Taylor Hospital. I think it's, yes, it's off a narrow little driveway opposite Taylor Hospital on Chester Pike. And I think Chester Pike is like a town or maybe a city or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Let me write that. You wrote camino or entrada? Because I have entrada.
All right. Well, se encuentra en un pequeño estrecho camino frente al hospital. Or maybe we could write la entrada se encuentra en un pequeño y estrecho camino frente al hospital. It could be or not.
That's the thing that I don't know if that's like the enter of the hospital or if
no. Because I was looking for an option for the last phrase, like click your heels together. Yeah, because I don't know how I can translate that. And I just found something about the Dorothy, I think it's from the Wizard of Oz. She clicks her heels and says there's no place like home or something like that. So I think that's a reference to that. I'm not sure.
It makes sense.
It says in the end, it is revealed that Dorothy can return home by simply closing her eyes, clicking her heels of the slippers together 3 times, and repeating the phrase "There's no place like home." So I think that's a reference to Wizard of Oz. No, there's no place like home. Yeah, I think so, because the first phrase is "There's no place like home," and then they say the phrase about the. Yeah, I think it is.
Congratulations. You're the first team to crack the mystery. Good job. Good job. That's exactly what it's doing, making a reference to the Wizard of Oz because of the little people that were in the Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
There was the Munchkin Land as part of the Wizard of Oz. So good. Take that reference and go with it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Nice.
Sí, yo digo que sí también.
Sí,
Entonces,
porque a final de cuentas, o sea, no está diciendo, bueno, o sea, como que entra, sino está en el camino, o sea, es un camino que te lleva a
ujú,
Villa. No,
va,
bueno,
va, va.
a Midshipville, ¿no?
Entonces, le dejamos como es, ¿no? O sea, puede ser, es un pequeño camino opuesto al Hospital Taylor sobre Chesterfield,
Ajá, sí.
en lugar de está.
Entonces, es un camino estrecho. Ah, bueno, pequeño. ¿Cómo le vas a poner? Bueno, ¿cómo le vas a poner? ¿Pequeño
Ah,
o estrecho? Porque
podríamos
estrecho a mí
poner,
se me hace que es, o sea, un camino así delgadito. Y pequeño a mí se me
ajá,
hace como que no es tan largo, o sea, es un camino corto. Entonces, si estamos hablando
ajá,
como de gente que es enana,
enana,
por decir, yo siento que es un,
en
o sea,
agosto, ¿no?
es como
Así.
angosto, ándale,
Puede
ajá.
ser largo, pero, o sea, no es muy ancho.
Yo siento que no, ¿verdad? O al final de la calle, al final de la vía.
A ver, no, es que tampoco es avenida porque, pues, o bueno, mm,
En la avenida al final.
a lo mejor si en lo anterior, en lo que pusimos pequeño y estrecho camino, a lo mejor si ahí pusiéramos avenida y luego ya en la siguiente
Camino.
camino.
Ajá. Se ubica sobre una pequeña y estrecha avenida.
Avenida. Al otro lado del hospital Taylor en Chesterfield. La carretera es muy angosta y no hay una salida, así y no tiene, bueno, ahorita vemos. Así que tienes que girar en un camino.
Así que tienes que girar en un camino al final. ¿Sí, no?
En un camino al final.
Ah, sí, ¿no? Bueno, lo agregamos y ahorita lo leemos. Espera, ahora hay que poner la primera oración que dice, no hay, no hay-
O sea, digamos, bueno, de hecho, uh, sorry. I going to share my screen because oh no, I can do it. Well, I gonna show you by WhatsApp my part because we have different things. We are gonna doing something like that.
Well, I think that so far we sounds good now. Medit Village, por su traducción al español, pueblo diminuto. No es
Well, yeah, but in this case, we can change this part, but oh, let me second. Pueblo pequeño, but it's in no without. I'm gonna say comillas. I don't know exactly. Yeah, quotation marks. Well, if you remember the translation when we do the Casas de Adobe, for example, Midget Village is another word in it's a word in another language, but we need to put quotation marks to indicate that is another languages, and we can use this part to indicate. Wait,
hacia la entrada que está,
Ajá. Hacia la entrada, ajá.
que está del otro lado.
Ujú. Pero no puedes perdértelo. Ah,
Pero no puedes perdértelo. Ajá. Yes.
ajá. Me han dado así, sí. Um, the click your heels together. That's, I think it's a phrase. So we have to look like for something similar in Spanish.
Yes.
Mm, click your heels together. Mm,
I don't know. I write, si tú vas, solo choquen sus talones juntos 3 veces. But
like for,
I think like a phrase like si te atreves a ir,
ujú.
solo tienen que chocar sus talones juntos 3 veces.
Pues. Un lugar como no. Pues igual podemos cambiar y dejar hogar pequeño hogar.
Ujú, sí, creo que eso me mejor. Hogar.
Porque digo, en inglés es como de, bueno, no rima con home.
Ujú, tiene más sentido.
Pero sí, como que en español sería como no, ¿qué rayos es? No.
Ajá. Y gnome es algo.
Es como el gnomo, ¿no? Pero
The Gnome King of Oz. Creo que también sería como The Gnome King de Mago de Oz, o no sé. Mm,
there's no place like no.
sí, es que no tendría sentido dejarlo en un lugar como no.
Sí, no. O la otra, bueno, que no sé, sería dejar la frase así en inglés. There's no place like no. Y ponerla como en italics. Pero
Ujú, sí,
no sé.
pero creo que sí está bien. Me gusta como hogar pequeño. ¿No? Ujú.
Hogar pequeño hogar.
Ah, pero mira, creo que queda un poco repetitivo porque ay, no sé ni pronunciar eso. ¿Cómo se dice? Ajá. Ajá, no es difícil de encontrar y luego se encuentra en una entrada pequeña.
Cierto, sí.
Entonces podemos dejar estar en una entrada pequeña.
Si vas. Yo creo que sí, es como pon tus talones juntos y golpéalos o chócalos 3 veces. Tac, tac, tac.
Ujú. Pues en el traductor nada más dice junta tus talones 3 veces.
Ujú.
Choca tus talones. Si vas, solo choca tus talones 3 veces. Pues que se entiende, ¿no? Tiene sentido.
Sí, es que es como, te digo, no sé si es como, a lo mejor después de eso pasa algo mágico. Tac, tac.
Probablemente.
Entonces,
Sí.
yo creo que sí sería, o sea, así como de si vas, Solo junta tus talones y chócalos 3 veces. No, es que, a ver, if you
Es que si los juntas, pues ya lo estás chocando, ¿no? O lo dejamos en junta nada más, solo junta tus talones 3 veces.
just
¿Así? Ok.
Ah, pero... Ah, rayos. Pero al inicio del texto pusimos encontrar.
¿Vale?
Al principio del texto pusimos midget pie es fácil de encontrar. O sea, ahí estamos repitiendo encontrar otra vez.
Déjame buscar un sinónimo.
Vamos a poner ubicar. Ah, no, ya pusimos. Ah, no puede ser.
Espera, déjame buscar un sinónimo.
Gracias.
Localiza. No. Ubica.
Ajá, vamos a poner midget es fácil de ubicar, pero se localiza sobre.
Es fácil de ubicar. Ajá. No, pero... ¿No es difícil de ubicar o no es fácil? O es fácil de ubicar.
Es fácil de ubicar, digo.
Fácil de ubicar. Pero espérate, ¿en dónde pusimos se ubica?
La siguiente, donde se
encuentra?
ubica sobre una carretera.
Ponemos, ¿cómo?
Ajá, habíamos puesto Midgetville es fácil. Ay. Bueno, quedaría ahora. Midgetville es fácil de ubicar. Se localiza sobre una pequeña.
Se localiza. Sí, ¿no?
Ajá, se localiza.
Localiza. Ok.
Sorry for the delay. Well, we're gonna working.
A ver, how does it sound like to you? El camino es muy estrecho y no hay salida, así que tendrás que dar la vuelta en la entrada ubicada al final del camino. But it make a lot of noise to me and repeat el camino at the beginning of the text and then al final del camino at the end of the sentence.
Well, for example, I have el camino es muy estrecho y no hay salida, por lo que tienes que dar la vuelta en un camino de entrada al final. No, that sounds strange.
Exactly, sounds a bit strange.
Camino es muy estrecho. Well, for example, like it's gonna say
Si te vas.
I just wrote si vas. Si vas
Si vas.
because we already talked about the place. It's like someone inviting them to go.
Yes, but just remember the beginning of the text. La entrada se encuentra en un pequeño. And I think that this is the way to enter that place. And I think they talk about to to the exit. Así que and they talk about the exit because el camino es muy estrecho y no hay salida.
Ajá.
And I think if you go, si te vas, this is I think this is one of the ways to
The road.
me parece, mm, mm,
Digo, ya con todo esto, creo que entonces, después de lo de que se encuentra en una entrada pequeña y estrecha frente al Hospital Taylor en Chester Pike, lo de la carretera es muy estrecha, creo que entonces sí quedaría mejor el camino, es muy estrecho. Así como habías dicho al inicio.
ok.
Porque como es pequeño y como que carretera es de, no sé, es como la carretera para ir a tal lugar donde
Petizo o diminuto, enano. Es que enano jamás es la mejor palabra.
A ver, espera, nada no es difícil de encontrarte. Es un camino estrecho opuesto. Perdón.
¿Salud? ¿Te lo daste? Sí.
Ya,
Salud.
sí, gracias. Perdón.
No te preocupes.
Opuesto
Aguas
a
al doctor.
lo... Sí, gracias. Al hospital. Oye, ¿y si esos nombres los cambiamos al hospital
Hospital Taylor.
sobre Chester Pike? O sea, siento que es como que
Es
un cuento para niños, entonces
como que
podríamos decir...
desentonan mucho, ¿no?
Ajá, entonces sería
Pero es que podemos ponerle hospital
hospital no
que
sé qué sobre...
Carlos.
Sobre... No,
Carlos.
Chester Pike, a mí se me hace que es como... No sé, es que no sé qué tan bien suene, pero así como de, ya sabes, caminito de queso o algo, o sobre la avenida de queso, no sé.
No lo sé, no sé. Sería mucha libertad literaria, ¿no?
Pues
O sea,
sí.
está bien, es buena idea, pero no sé qué tan correcto sea hacer. Y más si nos van a evaluar sobre esto. Entonces, no sé.
Bueno, eso sí, también es que no sé.
Mira, yo googleo Chester Pike y me parece Auto Sales, Newcastle, Walmart, CVS, Car Wash, Animal Hospital. Y así nomás me parece que es una calle en Pensilvania.
Ajá, sí, es que eso fue lo que dijo la maestra.
Ujú. Ah, sí queda Pensilvania, ¿no?
Sí.
He puesto el hospital Taylor sobre Chester Pike.
En estrecho.
El sendero es muy estrecho.
En estrecho puesto al hospital Taylor. Ah, pues entonces sí está bien sobre Chester Pike.
Que a pesar de que tienes que...
Yo siento que queda como, así que no te lo puedes perder, pero no sé. ¿No? A mí me gusta ir, así que no te lo puedes perder.
Así que no te lo puedes perder. Bueno.
Ahora, aquí en la siguiente, si vas a ir, siento que no queda. Yo siento que quedaré más. Si vas.
Si vas.
La coma,
sí.
Si vas, la coma y ya ponemos los signos de exclamación, ¿no?
Ajá.
Ya, siento que ya quedó mejor. ¿Dónde se encuentra el lugar? ¿Dijiste el hogar o el lugar? El hogar, ¿no?
Hogar.
Ah, ya va.
All right, is everyone back yet? Here. Still missing someone. We're missing a pair. All right. From what I'm hearing, all right, from what I'm hearing, first of all, from what I'm hearing, you are forgetting that the language of work is English. You have so few opportunities to practice English. It's a shame that you automatically go to Spanish, all right? So the language of work is English, in case you've forgotten. We've said that a couple times already. Now, how are things going? The first thing that I see from listening to your work is that you need more general knowledge. You need more general knowledge. And the first thing you need to do is research. Many of you started directly into the translation. Let's start translating. What do we do with Midgetville? What do we do with this? What do we do? Let's change Chester Pike to Camino del Queso or something. And arguing about how to say narrow. And there's just so many things that you were spending time discussing that didn't matter. That didn't matter. All right. So far, I think only one group has gotten the key to translating this. Can you tell us what the key to translating this is? I think it's Sarah and Sarah, who are you working with?
Me.
Isabel, okay. What's the key to deciphering this translation?
The name Midgetville and also the reference at the end of the Wizard of Oz.
The references to the Wizard of Oz. The references to the Wizard of Oz. Those are the keys to it, okay? Now, what do we do with that? Remember, it is a place in Pennsylvania, which some of you just realized now, okay? So it is a real place. It does exist. Remember, this is in a book that people are using to actually go and find these places. The book together with internet, and they're going to find these places. So we have to be very careful about what we translate, how we translate it. Now, some of it's just kind of fun. Some of it are puns, you know. There's no place like Nome, the reference to the Wizard of Oz. So if you've never seen the Wizard of Oz in your life before, this is your chance to educate yourself about it, because this is what we're referring to. In the beginning of the Wizard of Oz, when she first lands in Oz, she lands in a place called Munchkinville, Munchkintown. Oh, that's the Lollipop Guild, that's something else, okay? So she lands in Munchkintown and it's full of little people. That's the reference that we're making here. That it is a real place and that the people reading it need to know what it's called and where it's at and what references are there. Yes. All right. So I think these are the two most important things that we have to remember, besides the fact that you need to have a basic profile in your head in order to be able to make this work. So even though I didn't ask you to write a profile, you need to have a profile in your head. And you need to have that basic reference of the Wizard of Oz. All right. Questions? Back to your rooms. 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
The Wizard of Oz. I'm looking for the phrase. Yeah, I just know that, well, the same that I found before, that it's a phrase from the Wizard of Oz. They click your heels together 3 times and say there's no place like home, and you'll be there. But can find like a proper translation. Wizard of Oz.
Do you think we should change Chester Pike? Because we
Chester
didn't.
Pike.
Yeah, and I noticed that Marsha mentioned it, that some people were discussing it, and we didn't. So I don't know. But I think.
Pico del queso 2.
What? What did you say?
Oh, well, I was like, well, Marcia said that people were discussing if they were going to translate as pico del queso or something like that.
Yeah.
Does this, I mean, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
I love that.
And also
It
it's
doesn't make
place.
sense.
I like thinking while I'm saying it, like, it doesn't make sense, but like,
Okay.
it's good options. But it's like the name of the place, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
it's a real
the
good-
road. So we can't change that.
Yeah. Because we didn't change Midgetville, we just translated it and put it in parentheses. So
Have you found anything?
Yeah,
I just
I
looked. There's no place like no. If I can find something, but I don't know.
don't know. I'm really confused.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm trying to look for some reference like similar to the text that we are translating. I'm trying to find something similar so we can notice if there's something, but I cannot find it. I don't find anything. Maybe I should watch the movie after this class.
Yes, me too. Oh my god. Mm.
Right. So in this translation, we didn't have to do a provide, right?
No, but I mean, from the information we were given, I think, first of all, I don't think there is a mark of age or anything like that. I don't think there are any marks. We know where it's from. We know it's from a book. I think it has a pretty positive attitude,
I can hear you.
a warm tone.
¿No te escuché al final, ¿cómo?
Marie?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I couldn't hear you. What do you say?
Oh, you couldn't hear me? No, we didn't really need to do a profile, but from the text, I can say that it has a positive.
Yeah, I understood this part. Well, you need to do this reference to Mago de Oz. Choca tus tacones 3 veces. No, I don't like this part.
I mean, the original script of the translated script of the El Mago de Oz, they said choca tus tacones 3 veces.
Yeah, I understand. But what about the
comes with the
title? Yeah, that's a problem.
I mean,
well,
as I told you, the title and the final part of this text are linked together. And I mean, if we change the title, the people would get that is a reference to the Wizard of Oz.
well, we need to do the metrics with no hay forma de perderte, por si llegaras a hacerlo. I don't understand this part, but the final part is the problem with the title. So we need to change the duende estás. For example, we can do this. Well, for example, I mean, the original sentence, the original text is there's no place like no. Well, we can change for the no hay lugar como el lugar because well
Wait,
is
sorry. Have you watched that movie, Romeo and Julieta? They use like all the time. They use like words with gnomo. They all the time are mixing words. So I don't know how great could no hay lugar como el knogar. Something like that. Read the chat, please. And that way we are not missing the, obviously it's like a literal translation, but still a reference to the Lord, to the Wizard of Oz. I don't know, how do you think about it?
Well, I never see the Romeo and Julieta, but well, it sounds strange to say el lugar como el nogar, but if you see this possibility the other way, well, the last part we can change it because we need to get this meaning or the reference, link with the reference, but well, I think it sounds strange. No hay lugar como el nogar, make it village por su traducción, etc.
Are we all back? Of course, if someone's not back, they're not going to be able to say no. All right, give me a second here. I'm putting something up on Facebook for you, but I can't find church lights. Okay. How are we doing? I'm almost afraid to ask. All right. How are we doing? Let's leave, as we know, let's leave the title to the end. And I was very happy to hear some of you say, don't even worry about the title. Let's get to that at the end. And that's exactly what we want to do. There's no sense looking at that when we don't have the whole context behind it. Right? Now, what did you do with Midgetville?
Well, and we decided to keep it in English, but we specified that it means Villa Enana.
Okay.
So,
How did you specify that it means Villa Enana?
well, in parentheses.
Okay. Why
Yeah,
not
but-
instead of, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that most Spanish speakers wouldn't get the reference that midget means something small. That's why we decided to do it.
Right, right. All right. And that is the best solution for it. Midgetville is the name of the town. We can't change it. We can't change it. But a Spanish speaker may not know or may not get that reference that Midgetville is called that because it's full of midgets or midgets live there. Okay. So we leave the name of the town, but we do want to specify what it means in Spanish so that they say, oh, okay, that's what it means. Now, instead of parentheses, I would actually make it part of the text. Okay. How can we make it part of the text? I already put a comma here, you can see. What would you say there to make it actually sound like it was written there? Nobody? Bueller? In other words, how can we not make it sound like a footnote? How can we make it actually sound part of the text?
We can write también conocida como.
No, porque no está conocido como. You're close, you're close. We just don't want the también conocido como because it's not known, but that's the idea, that's the idea. What else can we put there?
We could say that it is a community of midgets, like una comunidad de personas enanas or something like that.
Okay, that's still a theory. They're little houses, they're little, but nobody has actually seen the people. It's like the Casa de los, what is it? Enanos, duendes on the Avenida Juárez, right? Nobody has actually seen the people there. So what we just want is to give a translation of the town, but we want to make it sound, I mean, like it's part of the text, not just in the parentheses. So Midgetville, could we say something like lo que en español sería Villa Enana? Okay. Give me an option there for this. What can we say that sounds better than what I said?
O en español, coma, Villa Enana.
All right. Right, we could do that. We could have something else there explaining that this is the name in Spanish, or this is what it would be called in Spanish if we could call it something like that in Spanish, okay? Now, the next part I don't think is difficult, and some of you may have even decided to start with it, right? No es difícil encontrar Midgetville, or leaving it here at the end. So you may have put no es difícil encontrar, and some of you may have put es fácil encontrar, because that's what we were looking at with our translation methods, right? I mean, we're saying the same thing, basically. Okay, so difícil. ¿Difícil encontrar o difícil de encontrar?
I think it's difícil de.
Right, because it would have to be difícil encontrarlo. Ajá, and we don't want that structure. Okay, difícil de encontrar. All right. It's the name of a town. We leave the name of a town the way it is. We don't change that because they're looking on the map, you know, they're asking people where Midgetville is. They're not saying, excuse me, where can I find Villanana? Right? That just wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So good. We keep the original name, but we add something to tell them what that name means so that they understand that midget means little people. Okay. Now, this part gets a little complicated. It's off a narrow little driveway opposite Taylor Hospital on Chester Pike. Okay. How can we do this first part? Did anyone use Google Maps?
I looked for the place at the end, but at the end.
Okay. And what did you find? Did you find anything that would help you?
Yeah, it's like it's the main road, and then it's like a desviación, and it's like a privada, like a private road.
Right, because it doesn't have an outlet. Okay, exactly. So what we have right here is Taylor Hospital. All right, we have Taylor Hospital. The only road, if you see the map down here, okay, there are two roads that don't have an outlet in front of Taylor Hospital, right? This is one of them, right? And I've already gone down here and there's nothing. So let's go back. I love Google Maps. I live for Google Maps. I think that's amazing. All right. And this looks very much like a driveway. All right. And this is the other one. So let's go back here and explore and see what we can find. And interestingly enough, when you get to this, well, first of all, when you get to this point, Google Maps, I guess, doesn't let you go back any further. Maybe it's because Midgetville is back there. Because if we look at the map, okay, both of these have no outlet. Both of these end all of a sudden. Both of them are in front of Taylor Hospital. And the instructions say it is off. It is off a narrow little driveway opposite Taylor Hospital. Now, the driveway doesn't look very narrow, okay, the first one, but this one is probably much more narrow. And then back here, you'll probably find Midgetville. It's a very secretive place, okay? Google Maps is not even going to take us back to it. But we have the idea now. It is off. Now, if you're driving this, how could you say it is off a narrow little driveway opposite Taylor Hospital on Chester Pike? If this were it, and you were describing this, how could you make this description? Off is the problem, right? It's off. How could you change it? How could you express it so that someone in Spanish reading this would have no problem understanding where they're supposed to go? What would we do?
Está al final de una pequeña entrada frente al hospital Taylor en Chester Pike.
De una, what you say, está al final de
Una pequeña entrada.
una pequeña, someone else?
Estrecha.
Yeah. Entrada. What else did you say then, Mario? I think it was Mario.
Frente al Hospital Taylor en Chester Pike o ubicada frente al...
Okay, ubicada frente, I like the frente. Frente a, is it frente a?
al hospital.
Al, okay, al Hospital Taylor,
En Chester Pike, sí.
pero sería, it would be al Hospital, small h. In Chester Pike, or what did you say?
Sí, en...
In Chester Pike?
Sí. Bueno, yo puse... o lo
Mhm,
pondría
mhm.
así.
Anybody else? Everyone says in?
Yes.
In Chester Pike or sobre Chester Pike?
Sobre Chester Pike.
Right, because it's a road, it's not, that's not the city, so we need, if we don't say in with with a street, do we? Oh, yeah, we do. We do sometimes. All right, the road's very narrow.
La carretera es muy angosta.
La carretera,
O el camino.
El sendero, maybe.
again.
El sendero.
No, 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 I mean, you can drive on it. You can drive on it. Okay. Another word for narrow,
Angosta. So we can, so we don't repeat estrecho.
right? Okay. Y
Y no tiene salida.
okay.
Así que tendrás que dar la vuelta en la entrada ubicada al final de la vía.
We used calle before, so we're going to use calle again instead of vía. Okay. Or just al final, ubicado al final. All right. But you can't miss it.
No hay forma de perderte.
No hay forma de perderte.
Sí, yo lo cambié por eso. I changed.
Uh-huh. The thing is, this one can have two different meanings to it, right? Que no puedes perderte. In other words, it's easy to find. Or no te la puedes perder. Si vas por ahí, tienes que visitarlo.
No, I don't think so, because
Which one? Uh-huh.
And the first one is linked to the next, that if you go, if you do it, if you actually get lost, you should click your heels together. So I think that it's the first one.
Well, the last part is not necessarily if you get lost. It's just making the reference again to the Wizard of Oz. Okay. All right. Either one. I'm not sure which one. There's nothing to indicate which one they want. But you can't miss it means no te puedes perder, or if no te lo puedes perder. So either one of those that you have would be okay, because there's nothing to indicate anything on the contrary. Give me one of your options, anyone that you have for this? Somebody gave it to me, but I forgot it already.
No hay manera de perderse.
No hay manera de perderse.
Así que no te lo puedes perder.
I would say something like that, just because the other one sounds. Now, I wouldn't say así que, because I already used así que before this. So how about if
Por
we
ello.
just say, no, no te lo puedes perder. Okay. If you go, just click your heels together 3 times. I heard some of you say, I have to watch this movie after class. Excellent idea. Excellent idea.
We
I like
wrote,
it very much.
oh, sorry. We wrote, si vas, solo choca los tacones de tus zapatillas rojas 3 veces, como en el Mago de Oz. I don't know if
It's
well, the adding of como en el Mago de Oz, I don't know if it's like too obvious that we
exactly. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. Not bad. I mean, not a bad, you know what I mean? Not a bad attempt. Not a bad attempt. And you were thinking, how can I let my audience know, okay, what they're saying here? Yeah.
Estoy dispuesta ya.
Oh no, this is the
Cierra bien
Spanish
los ojos. Junta
version
los
from
chapines
Spain.
uno contra otro 3 veces. Bien los ojos. Junta los chapines uno contra otro 3 veces. Y repite para ti. Se está mejor en casa que en ningún sitio. Se está mejor en casa que en ningún sitio.
Okay, that's the Spanish version. Hold on a second. There we go. Here's
Los
the Latin
chapines.
American. Yeah, los chapines.
Golpea los talones uno con... Sí, ya estoy lista. Cierra los ojos. Golpea los talones uno contra otro 3 veces. Y concéntrate en pensar que no hay sitio mejor que el hogar. No hay sitio mejor que el hogar. No hay sitio mejor que el hogar.
Okay. That little part of the video gave us the answer now to 2 parts. However, we're only probably going to use 1. All right. So this last part, okay, it says if you go, and we're going to put si vas, just click your heels together 3 times. Very literally, we can put solo golpea los talones uno contra el otro 3 veces. Okay. Now, do we need to make a reference? This is a very good question. Do we need to make the reference to the Wizard of Oz? Because as we have discovered here today, many of you do not have that original reference. What can we do without saying como en el Mago de Oz? Can we do something to help our audience understand this reference?
I thought of saying like Dorothy, but I wasn't sure if, again, it would be giving too much.
That was exactly what I thought too. Instead of maybe taking out the solo here si vas, maybe decir haz como Dorothy y golpea los talones uno contra el otro 3 veces. All right. It helps. I think it helps. And we don't have to say it como el Mago de Oz, because the funny thing here today in these generations of Spanish speakers in Mexico, Mago de Oz means something completely different. And when you put, Mago de Oz and escena de Mago de Oz and lo que dice Dorothy Mago de Oz, the group is what comes up, not the movie itself. All right, so I like that. I like it very much. You might decide to do something else with it, but we're giving our readers an idea that Dorothy, I think they get it with that. That's what she does. Okay. Now, very good, very good. Now, there's no place like no. Give me your ideas.
We put duende se encuentra el hogar.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I think the pronunciation helps, duende se encuentra, it does help. But I like it. Whoops. Anyone else?
¿No hay lugar como para hacer un gnomo?
No hay lugar como para hacer un gnomo. What do you think?
Sounds a bit strange to me.
Yeah, it doesn't fit into the rest of it. It doesn't fit into the rest of it. Right? Any others?
We got it as ¿Dónde estás?
Duende estás, the same idea, right?
Exactly.
All right, anything else?
But we got it as a question because
as a question.
We would like to keep the idea of don't knowing where is the place.
All right.
We have hogar, pequeño hogar.
Okay. Now this is good because a lot of these really don't have anything specific to do with Dorothy, because she says here, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. And in Spanish, it's no hay sitio mejor que el hogar. I think she says it differently in Mexican Spanish. Hold on a second.
No hay sitio mejor que el hogar.
Yeah, no hay sitio mejor que el hogar. Okay, so there's no place like no. The options that you have really don't have a lot to do with the Wizard of Oz, but that's okay. That's okay. You're still working around the double meaning, the puns, the double entendre there. Okay, and we would say home sweet home, right? Hogar dulce hogar. Instead of saying dulce, you're saying pequeño. I like that a lot. It's a very common saying, and it works well like that. Okay. What I did personally, I went to, the other day, I actually was on, what's it called? Wikipedia. And Wikipedia right now is doing its contribution drive, getting people to donate to Wikipedia so it can remain free. And I do, because I use Wikipedia a lot, especially for translation. And so I made my contribution, and then I get in Wikipedia and I start looking. Your translation really needs a lot of research. It needs a lot of research. And we need to be full of general knowledge, not know a lot about everything, but know enough about everything in order to realize the references that are being made, for example. So what I did was look for phrases. I think I Googled, yeah, diálogos importantes Mago de Oz película, so as not to get the group. And I got this page, which was amazing because it lists a lot of good lines from the movie. And so I wrote a couple down, and the one I liked the most was, ya no estamos en Kansas. I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. So I chose that one, or you can have something like sigue el camino de ladrillos amarillos. But what I did was get on this page and start looking at some of the other phrases, because as we mentioned before, somebody mentioned today, it's about the sense. It's not necessarily about the words. And so we changed the words. If there were something more related to duendes or enanos or something in Latin American culture or in Mexican culture, we could use this. We could change this completely and not use the reference to the Wizard of Oz, but use a reference to this. Because what you want your audience to see is that it's full of little people. All right. How did you feel doing this today? It took a lot of time to do one small paragraph. Question, are you happy with your paragraph?
More or
Are you
less.
happy? More or less?
No.
No?
I have to say that actually I prefer my version of the last part of the text than the one we correct here.
Mm-hmm. The putting your heels together? What do you have? Well, why didn't you share it with us if you liked it more?
I mean, the whole sentence says, no hay forma de perderte, pero si llegaras a hacerlo, no te preocupes. Solo choca tus tacones 3 veces. En plan, creo que I think that I actually would change and say like, and as Dorothy, y como Dorothy, solo choca tus tacones 3 veces, but I like how I linked, no hay forma de perderte,
The two of them
pero si
together.
llegaras a hacerlo, no te preocupes. Y como Dorothy, solo choca tus tacones 3 veces. Instead of no te lo puedes perder or something like that.
Right. That line is ambiguous, so we don't know exactly what it's meaning. But I also like your option, yeah. Okay. Be careful. She actually says golpea los talones instead of choca los tacones, or what? I think this is a Mandela effect. People think she says choca tus tacones when she actually says golpea tus talones.
Actually, I found a video on YouTube of the theatrical version of the Wizard of Oz.
The theatrical version, yeah.
They say choca los tacones.
In the theatrical version, which is a variation of an original, all right? But the classic movie, I would stick with that. I would stick with that if I were you. But yeah, yours is a good option also, okay? So good. The thing is, first of all, the reason for this exercise was actually to put into practice, to put into use your lessons learned, all right? Because what I heard today was a lot saying, Marcia said something about this, but I don't remember what. Marcia said something about this, but I don't know what it meant. Marcia said something about this, but I don't remember what happened there. So there was a lot of Marcia said something about, but, okay. And instead of Marcia said something about, I'm very glad you see that. But we have to remember, and we have to be able to use it. And we have to say, we saw it this way, let's apply it here. Let's do something about it here. Because this is how you're growing in translation. meaning that you do something a certain way, you learn something a certain way, and then you apply it to another one in the future. If we don't keep applying what we've learned, you know, after a while, we're still doing our translations the same way. So your applications of your lessons learned, on the most part, you got a good translation out of it, but it took a long time. And even some of you, it took a long time before you realized the reference that we had for it. All right. Now, what I did was put on Facebook church signs. All right. And these church signs, oops, that's a different, I've got Facebook open like in 5 places on my computer. This is why it's so slow sometimes. Okay. Let me pull it up here. Church signs. Right. And this is what you're going to work with. Now, you're going to bring options for next week. You're going to bring options because I think a lot of you are going to have different options for these. The first one says, the fact that there's a highway to hell and only a stairway to heaven says a lot about anticipated traffic numbers. Right? Now, how could you do this? It's making reference to 2 songs, The Highway to Hell and The Stairway to Heaven. Are they known in the same way in Spanish? Can we use them the same way? This is what we have to research and therefore make it up. But in a lot of cases, again, it's not about the words, it's about the sense. Tweet others as you want to be tweeted. All right. And tweet others as you want to be tweeted is a kind of a double entendre on the word treat. Treat others as you would want to be treated. But we're using the tweet as in the technology and like someone with a lisp, like Tweety Bird. I thought I saw a putty tap. All right. So this one's going to be a little, and it might change completely. It might change completely. That's the deal. When you throw mud at someone, you lose ground. All right. First of all, what does it mean to lose ground? It's not going to work the same way because we may not use the same kind of expressions. Let's keep the sense as much as we can, even though we have to change the words completely. All right. Now your audience, your readership is going to be people driving by the church in their cars. That's your readership. All right.
They're very good.
They are excellent. And this one should be pretty simple. This one should be pretty simple. This one's going to be very complicated. All right. So take a look at these and bring your ideas based on the sense, not on the words itself, but on the sense. Some of them are simple. Some of them are very complicated. This one, for example, the hokey pokey is cultural, and you don't have the hokey pokey in Mexico, all right? What could you do? Now, there are 2 different ways we could treat these. You could treat them as Spanish speakers in an English-speaking country, or you could imagine these signs, you know, in Mexico, for example. So either way you want to deal with them, that's fine. Either way, the hokey pokey is still probably a very foreign concept for many Spanish speakers. All right. So this is what I want you to do. It's going to take some research. It's going to take some Googling maps. It's going to take some watching videos. It's going to take some ideas about church signs. All right. This one's going to be difficult. A pew for you. Pew. Pew. Any questions on this one? Brush up on your Bible. That's going to be complicated. Any questions?
Teacher, we are going to upload any of these
You're
on
going to
somewhere?
bring options. You're going to bring options.
Okay.
All right. You need to be ready. You need to bring options. Don't think that because I didn't ask for them on Blackboard, right? You're like, nah, I'll just listen in. Bring options, because we're going to do a quick fire option here. So you need to be ready with the options. Okay. Okie doke then. Have a great weekend, a great week. I'll see you next time then.
Well, I do have one question.
Yeah.
The one we did today, are we uploading it?
Okay. The one we did in class right now?
Yeah.
No, no.
Okay.
Okay. No. Yeah, any other questions? All right. Letty, can you stay online just for a second here afterwards? If not anything else, I will see you next week. Have a great weekend and a great week. Bye, everyone.
See you,
Thank you,
teacher. Thank
Yeah.
you. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay. Let me